Hello everyone, my name is Maggie and I'm very happy to welcome you to this short YouTube series which are dedicated to the basics of research in marketing. My name is Maggie and for the past 12 years I've been studying marketing, including in the academic settings. And after the graduation from my PhD program, I can certainly tell you that I've been through plenty of hours, months, years of the research in the field of marketing, and I would love also to share with you some interesting and important things which I came across myself when I was the student, and also with my students when I was teaching at the marketing department as the assistant professor. What you can see as the basics when you are in a program which is dedicated to some problem which is related to a marketing field or with discipline of marketing. And here on the slide, you can see a short overview of who I am and why am I teaching you or sharing with you my knowledge. And I've been studying and teaching, as I've mentioned earlier, for more than 12 years with plenty of online and offline sessions, individual and in groups, in academic and corporate settings. I also, apart from the research, I teach English for marketers and also the MarTech, marketing technologies in B2C. And I also work with businesses in terms of consultations and trainings. And also you can see other information that I'm from Georgia, from Sacramento, and I always try to learn more and complete different programs. And the latest one was the Oxford program in artificial intelligence, as I'm interested in technologies and marketing. I really wanted to structure the knowledge which I have. So I have two cats. Maybe they will come here during this video and you might see them, but maybe not. Maybe they'll be busy. And I also have a great variety of other interests, except for from teaching and MarTech, which is music, cinematography, philosophy, and politics. So, and here on the right side of the slide, you can see the QR codes, which lead to the website of mine, where you can find the blog posts, and also links to the social media, where I also share some interesting tips. Open lectures with the dates, where if you're interested in MarTech, you can join us and learn about interesting aspects. MarTalks, these are the speaking clubs which are dedicated, also free and open, as well as the open lectures to improve your English and communications and learn more about the current trends, discuss it with different people, and also work on the networking. And also there is a MarTech guide which helps anyone who is interested in MarTech to learn about what it is all about and how to find your own way, your own path in this broad field, and how to actually benefit from marketing and technology intersection and be in line with this finding interesting topic. And let's move on to the question which I had in the very beginning. So the first topic of today is primary and secondary data sources in research in marketing in MarTech. Why MarTech? Because I specialize in that, but you can use this differentiation in terms of any other topic in marketing or in business in general, in business studies in general. So we have primary sources of data and secondary sources of data. And this is the broad categorization, but nevertheless, this is one of the most basic ones. So let's define the primary sources of data. So we have, as we take it from, we have this data, which is that what you collect for your research question. So when you have the clear research question for your paper, thesis, working paper, or whatever, academic text, which you define, which you create, this is the primary source of data. If we follow one of the major book in marketing research of Hodra, here you can see the source at the bottom of the slide. So if we say this quote, if the data originated by the researcher for the specific purpose of addressing the research problem. What I said, basically. So it can be in the form of the survey or questionnaire. So the set of questions which you develop beforehand and for the customer to answer either with a pen and the paper or questionnaire which is online. Experimental data. So when you have experiments, so it can be with the different experimental designs, or it can also be with the classical design where you have a treatment group and the focus group and control group, and you can try to see differences in terms of one particular variable. Interviews, which can be different in terms of structured interviews, or you can have these interviews online, offline, by phone, in a written form. So interviews are the interviews which are designed specifically to answer the question that you have. Observations is when you are just a side observer of the problem which is happening, or for example, a business situation, and you try to collect the data which is prominent for your particular research question. And also other things, but they are less used and less prominent as the one which I just listed. Secondary sources of data are the ones which are not directly related to your research question. So, as we follow the quote, data collected for some purposes other than the problem at hand. And this one includes articles. So any article that is about the topic that you research, but these are not written specifically to answer your question. So it's not something that you personally created. Books and manuscripts. So for example, a chapter is dedicated to the term that you focus your research question on, but it's not something that answers the particular research question that you have. News. So for example, something that happened in any market can have an influence on the topic that you cover, but it's not something directly what you create as a person to make it to the news to answer your research question. Existing data sets. So for example, if you and your team work on a similar question, but the data set that they have is dedicated to what they are working on, but nevertheless you can benefit through some information that they have, but it's not something that you collected specifically to answer your research question, and well, etc. But these are the most prominent ones. And to make it not as broad as it is, let me give you another example. One of the research questions which I was working on with our team of the researchers is, how do customers perceive the use of their personal data for high personalized offerings in online shops? So as you can see here, we have a set of terms which are used in this research question, and which can be the foundation of the development of the sources for the primary data and also for the secondary data. So for example, we have customers, right? We have customers as a terms of people can be identified as the customers. We have this term of to perceive, the perception. The perception is also a very important term in marketing, which can be defined through several characteristics, especially if we use it as a variable. Personal data. Personal data is also a strict term which defines the type of data which can be obtained through this set of ways. Personalized offerings, high personalized offerings, or maybe more personalized offerings, or maybe the higher rate of personalized offerings, which can also be the term, the prominent part of the research question itself in online shops. So this is the limitation for the research question in terms of its application. So the shops, this question is limited to the digital sphere, let's call it that way. So as you can see, this fairly simple question can contain the variables which you need to use in order to define and develop your research. So what I used for this to answer this research question in terms of the sources of data was the first that, together with the colleagues, we created the survey. So we went through the stages and the blocks, the parameters of the survey, and we had these questions, the variables used defined to answer these questions to numerical values based on the Likert scales, experiment and experimental designs. So, for example, this can be represented by the exposure of the respondents to different types of personalized offerings, and the types of these personalized offerings, the quantity, the typology, and of course, it requires the controlling questions to identify whether it's transparent, whether it's understandable for the respondents. Be very careful with that. Semi-structured interviews, so it can answer the question, maybe not in the very straightforward and direct way, but at the same time, it's a very nice explorative way of learning about how this question can be asked outside the scope of what you already discovered based on the prior literature review and what you already consider to be there. Maybe there is some other concepts and information that can help you to improve your research. And the second resources of data were the reports from practitioners. So how how different companies work with personalized offerings to influence the perception of the data collection in order for them to be not so reluctant to follow the personalized offerings. The academic papers, of course, from different databases based on different concepts which are indicated in this question, and statistics about data use, types of data, about the increase of the digitalization in terms of the retail based on the particular market. All that can be in the category of statistics. So as you can see in this example, the lists are applicable, but at the same time, it requires a very thorough understanding of what data sources you work with and how you can actually use them for your own benefit. And that was it. I hope that it was useful for you to have this overview of the primary and secondary data sources for the research in marketing. If you have any specific question, please let me know in the comments, or you can write me directly. So these links will lead you to my website, where you can either find me in social media, and you can also ask me the question here in the comment on YouTube. So I once again invite you to the open lectures, which are dedicated to the MarTech topics, broad ones or specific ones. And several of them will cover the topics which you might consider interesting for your research. MarTalks are the format where you can participate in the discussion, which I'm trying to moderate and lead. It's a very nice way to learn about other people, to talk to them about the interesting topics. And if you find it interesting, it would be very, very great feeling and great accomplishment for me as well. And if you're interested in having the full overview of MarTech's scope, if you consider that your career in this field, this is the guide that I created myself based on the research and 12 years of experience. And if you find it interesting, please also follow this QR code, or these links are also available in the description of this video, or you can just write me directly. I'll send you all the information. So thank you very much, and I will continue further with the other presentations within this short YouTube series on the basics of research in marketing. So thank you very much, and have a good luck with your research. So see you in future videos.